Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today we're here to talk about the preservation of video games. That's right, having that physical game in your hand to play on the system of your choice. So we're pretty much in the 8th generation of video games right now, going on to the 9th generation pretty soon here. And I would say during the 7th generation, games started to slightly go into the digital route. I guess a lot of developers were testing how it would go. And now there are certain games that you think will get a physical release are getting digital only releases. And the reason I have a problem with that, because you don't really own the game if it's digital. It's more like you're renting it, you know, and that sounds horrible, I know, but that's the way it is. If you read the rights when you download a game, it's pretty much you're paying to rent the game or play it or whatever. I can't remember the whole details, sorry. But you got to read that stuff because it says all in there, and you don't really own the game. So that's where a company like Strictly Limited comes in. Now, Strictly Limited is a company that is dedicated to the preservation of video games. And the list I'm going to show you right now is a list of games that they've had come out so far that have gotten or are about to get a physical release. Now, you guys know me. I'm not going to just choose any game. You know, I think I have a resume of picking pretty good games, or just having good taste in video games in general. So we're going to take a look at what Strictly Limited has in store for us, and you guys let me know what you think. Let's take a look. Alright, so the first game on our list is Tokyo 42. Now, Tokyo 42 is a hyper-stylish, isometric open-world shooter. I know that sounds crazy. And pretty much you start the game waking up in your room, and you turn on your TV, and all of a sudden, there's a news report about a wanted person, and it happens to be you, and you're live on television in your room walking around. So now you know that the police are after you. You don't know why. And you pretty much got to get out of there. So you get a phone call from your friend. He helps you out a little bit. And you pack up your stuff. And you got to get ready to go because the cops are on their way. And you need to be out of there. Now, I like games that start off like this because, you know, it pretty much doesn't hold your hand. You know, it just starts off like really action-packed in a way. So as you run from the cops, you learn some of the controls in the game. And the isometric view that you're seeing right now is pretty much how you see the game at all times. You can switch around views, which I'll show you in a bit, but this is how the game is going to look. It's going to be pretty much isometric, zoomed out. So, but a little bit later in the game, you find out that you're framed for a murder that you didn't commit, and you pretty much have to hide in the underworld of assassins to kind of hide out until you figure things out. So you go on missions for people, and it's kind of crazy because you actually go on missions that require you to have to kill people, which is what you were framed for. So that's pretty crazy. But crazy is what we like. Tokyo 42 pretty much delivers in that aspect of when it comes to the unknown pretty much and why. But you really feel like the game is alive when you look at it. You know, just a lot of people walking around, lots of things to do to interact with. Just an all-around cool game so far. I'm still in the beginning stages of it, but it has a lot of options that are very interesting to me. I've never played a game like this before, so it kind of threw me off a bit, but I was still very intrigued with it. So I also noticed that this game has some sort of online mode that's up to 2 to 4 players. Now, I didn't get to access this as of now, but I could totally see that happening in this game. That would probably be really cool. So I'm going to pretty much look for some friends that hopefully own this game, and I could probably play online with them, because I think it would be very interesting to play a game like this online together. Hopefully it's co-op, but knowing most online games today, they'll probably put you up against each other, which will still be pretty cool. But yeah, guys, Tokyo 42, definitely a game that I'm happy they got a physical release. It's very interesting. I think it's deserving of and yeah, it's like I said, I think it's a game that people will enjoy. It's different, it's wacky, and it's something new, something fresh. And also, as of now, Strictly Limited still has copies on their website for sale. So if you want that physical copy, I say go for it. Griffin Knight Epic is a shoot 'em up pixel related, and it has to do with back in the medieval days. I didn't really follow the story too much. I just wanted to play the game. I actually didn't think I was going to be impressed with this game at all. You know, I thought like, nah, whatever. And then I started playing it, and this is actually a shoot 'em up with kind of like RPG elements. Like you level up, and you also buy new items and health items to kind of help you out through the levels. One of my favorite things about the game so far is the ability to be able to turn back around and go the way you came. You know, by doing this, you could find certain items you might have missed, or go back and take out some enemies you might have missed out on. And by taking out enemies, of course, you know, you get more points and gold, so that helps you buy more items later on. Well, after you beat a level, you're able to buy more items to level your Griffin up. The game also has a combo system that's on the bottom left of the screen that lets you know what your chain of combos is of taking out enemies before getting hit. The game is just very relaxing. It's not hard or anything at all, especially when you get your upgrades. It's just more of a just sit back and relax type of an adventure. I like the pixel artwork for the graphics. I think they did a good job using that. And the boss battles are actually pretty fun, and some of them can be kind of challenging if you're not used to shoot 'em up games. But they always have a pattern that you could go through, so you'll eventually figure it out. So you guys in the comments, let me know what you think of Griffin Knight. You know, I think it's worthy of a physical release, a solid game, and it's really growing on me. You know, I can definitely put this game on if I invite people over to enjoy. You know, so it's definitely something you turn on when you have guests over. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Griffin Knight. Gunz, Gore, and Cannoli is a run and gun game based in the 1930s Mafia era. Now, this game is pretty crazy, and it's a lot of fun. It's a 4-player co-op game, and you pretty much play as a mafia enforcer trying to find out what's going on. And, man, as soon as the game starts, man, you got zombies coming after you, even some other gang members coming after you as well. So it's a pretty hilarious game and a lot of fun. Now, this game is actually 4 players, so I wasn't able to get a team of people to play, but you guys can see how hectic it could get in this game. Very arcade-feely like, so, you know, it definitely feels like an arcade game. When you get to certain checkpoints on certain levels, you're treated to cutscenes to kind of flesh out the hilarious story. These actually made me laugh quite a bit. I thought they were pretty hilarious, so definitely I think a lot of you guys will like them. I really like the art style in this game. I mean, 1930s New York, pretty much. That's during the time of the Great Depression, and I think it hit New York the hardest, or the first at least. But this game ain't about no depression. It's about zombies. And here's another thing, too. Not only are you going against zombies, but you're going against regular people. You don't want to get stuck between them because they'll beat you down. And what's funny about this game is when you walk by people or you try to get by them to get over them, you could get stuck a little bit and it slows your character down. So you could take damage from that. So just be careful of that. Gunz, Gore, and Cannoli, a solid game I think you guys will like. Only bad thing I have to say about this game is it doesn't have online, but I'm cool with that because sometimes it could take a developer a year to get proper working online for a game. But other than that, you got couch co-op, 4 players, and you got a great run and gun shooter. 99 Vidas is a sprite-based beat-em-up game, and it is fan-freaking-tastic. You could tell the guys who developed this game, developers, were fans of games like Streets of Rage, you know, and lots of other beat-em-up games that are like Pulley Ruler, which is one of my old-school beat-em-up games from back in the day. There's just so many references to all of the beat-em-up games over the years in this game. It's fantastic. And even recently got some DLC content where you could play the Last of Us level, which is called the First of Us, which is pretty hilarious. So this is a 4-player co-op beat-em-up game. You can play online with people, which is great. It has the online community is really active in this game. So if you ever want to play co-op with somebody online, it's definitely easy to find people to play with. Also, too, you level up your moves and you buy new moves as well. So there's that aspect where you can kind of like upgrade your stuff and keep things fresh, you know. This game also has a lot of extras. I mean, when you beat the game, you unlock characters, you know, just all kind of cool things. And I also like to see the summon moves that you get in the game. You have 2 bars, and when the bar is full, you get one of your summon moves. If you have 1 bar, you get a weaker version of it, but they're the type of moves that clear enemies off the screen. So when things get too frustrating, you know, you can pull that move out to help you out a little bit. But as a child, you know, and coming up, I've grown up with games like this, so it's fantastic that a game like this well made, got a physical release with the way games are going about these days with digital content or digital releases and things like that. 99 Vidas is definitely a top tier game. I mean, seriously. I mean, on the levels of Streets of Rage and all that stuff. I mean, I'm willing to put it up there. And the funny like little outtakes that it has or references to other games is pretty hilarious. But also saying, this is another gem that's strictly limited, made into a physical, and they made a fantastic choice in my opinion. I mean, this game, I couldn't imagine this game being lost in time. I mean, seriously, all the effort that was put into it, I mean, it's hilarious, the sprites and just everything this game has to offer, man. It's everything that people would want in a beat 'em up. 4-player co-op, online, cool moves, just great smooth gameplay. Here's one of my favorite levels here, Black Friday level. This is pretty much how you would think it is. Everybody gets all crazy for Black Friday, so you have to watch out on this level because you get swamped by a bunch of people, and it's pretty hilarious. So with all saying, this is only their second release. This was their second release game, so that's very impressive. I mean, this is a solid game. And, I'm always looking for people to play co-op online with this game. Me and my buddy Marcus, we love this game. And, hey, some of you could probably join us in some of the levels. Now, my favorite level in this game, I believe it's called Children's Book. And pretty much this level is hand-drawn. Like, it shows everything hand-drawn by a pen. It's pretty hilarious. And it reminds me of one of my favorite beat-em-ups, Puli Rula. I feel like they kind of got that inspirement from that level, from that game, to create this level, which is pretty hilarious. So all the characters are like drawn differently and just kind of made like a drawing in a book, which is pretty hilarious. So that's the kind of uniqueness you're looking at with this game. Seriously, like I said, I praise out to the developers. They did a great job with this game. It's just such a throwback to all the old school games, where they come Final Fight, Streets of Rage. If you don't have 99 Vidas in your life, there's something wrong with you. As simple as that. Bunny Must Die, Chelsea and the Seven Devils is a Metroidvania type game. Now, I know a lot of people are probably tired of hearing that term, but I don't know how else to describe this game. It's a fun Metroidvania type game, which is pretty much an adventure game where you could go around to different areas and you kind of like, you don't know what's on your map until you go into a new area, so you create you create your map as you go on during the game, and that's how you know where you're at as you go through rooms and discover things. Now, there's a lot of boss battles in this game too, so next thing you know, in a couple sections as you go on to somewhere, you'll find a boss battle, and they all actually turn out to be really good. Very entertaining. Now, Chelsea has a move where she can stop time and do moves. So that's one of the moves that, at least in the beginning, that you have is to stop time. That definitely helped me with fighting the first boss because I was pretty much getting my ass handed to me. Now, going back to the boss battle real fast, I only fought 2 of them so far, and because I'm still in the early parts of the game, but I was really enjoying it. The bosses aren't too hard, but they're not too easy either, so they kind of meet you in the middle. And this game is definitely a throwback to like old school games like that, where you just I don't know, the game doesn't really hold your hand, I would say. There's definitely a lot to do in this game, and if you're an adventure type, this game is going to be right up your alley. This, in my opinion, is another good choice to put on the physical, and I'm glad this is a Strictly Limited's third release. This game originally came out in 2006, so dang, almost like 12 years later, it's getting a physical release, which is already out actually. So yeah, that's Bunny Must Die for you, Chelsea and the Seven Devils. Definitely an enjoyable game that I think a lot of people will like, at least if you like from what you're seeing at least. And also, this was released physically on the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita, so that's already impressive. Another Vita release. As of now, I mean, I don't know how this video is going to be in the future, but as of this video, the Vita is kind of being pushed out. Well, it is pushed out in America and Europe, but Japan still has it going, thankfully, and we're getting physical releases still. Immortal Redneck is a first-person shooter, kind of like on the level of the original Doom game, if you remember that. So you play as a redneck mummy and a redneck zombie, whatever you want to call them, and you pretty much are going into a tomb and you're kind of like just giving people the business. Now, from what I've seen so far, man, there's no really big story. All there is some funny one-liners and just crazy looking enemies that you have to take down. I guess I could make up my own story for this game. Maybe you're in there just trying to get the money and get out for whatever reason, but for some reason you were awakened and you got to give people the business. So you're tearing up all kind of monsters. It's kind of like a platform game as well. So you jump on platforms as well as collect gold and all kind of weapons, and it's just really reminds me of the old school type of first person shooter. Definitely a cool game, and this game actually got me pumped up to grab my cowboy boots. So cowboy boots dancing. Put your boots on when you play this game and have a good time. But all in all, though, when I first played this game, I didn't really like it. I just didn't care for it. I remember telling Jason about it as well. And Jason's like, "Man, are you serious? This game is awesome. This is just like the old school Doom games." And then I thought about it, and I went back and played the game again. And then for some reason, I just started to enjoy it more. I started thinking about it like that, and I was like, it's mindless first person fun. And the levels are actually pretty funny because they all respawn. Every time you go into the tomb, you're going to start at a different level. It's always randomized, so it's always new and fresh. So just remember that. And also too, you level up and you buy items in this game to kind of keep yourself afloat, which is great. So you're not just randomly just shooting with one gun. You're changing weapons, upgrading them, getting certain items to help you out. So check out Immortal Redneck if you're in for some mindless first person fun. Stardust Galaxy Warriors is a 4-player co-op shoot 'em up game that is couch co-op only, unfortunately, but that's still fine with me. Now you can pick between, I believe it's 5 robots, or what you would call mechs, and you just go through some crazy shoot 'em up action. Now the levels that I'm showing you right here are actually the score attack level, so they're quite a bit harder, but I was just up for the challenge. And I just wanted to kind of show you guys how crazy the game can get. But it doesn't start off this way. I just want to let you know. One impressive thing about this game is that you have melee attacks as well that do a lot of damage if you want to get close to your enemies. Now, I would say the story is pretty tongue-in-cheek. Something it's not really memorable, but it's still good for a shoot-'em-up type game. Now, going through that mode, you have at least around, the game overall, you have over 10 levels to go through, and the levels are really cool looking. I mean, here's one of my favorite levels. And just so you guys know, the levels kind of section themselves out. Like each level has 3 stages in them. So you'll go through the first stage part, and then when you get to the second part of the stage, you get to choose a weapon or upgrade your weapons, and then you get to continue on to the second stage. I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. It kind of paces the action, not too much craziness going on. You get a few breaks in between, so that's pretty good. I really wanted to see how the co-op looked in this game, because looking at the screen of this game, it could definitely handle it. 4 players on screen at the same time probably looks like really good, and lots of craziness going on. But playing 1 player is just fine too. Cool boss battles. Bosses kind of change it up. They're not, I won't say they're easy to defeat, but they're fun to fight and figure out their patterns. They kind of last a little bit long, but maybe not too long in a way. But to me at the time it did. So, but anyways, still really cool stuff going on in this game. Boss battles, music. The music is actually really good and outstanding as well. And but I think what impresses me the most about this game is the backgrounds. I love the backgrounds for the levels. They just really stand out from certain other shoot 'em up games. Like this level here, like the asteroid belt. That looks amazing with the sun in the background, the asteroids just floating in space, just drifting. I mean, that looks great. Stardust Galaxy Warriors, another title well picked by Strictly Limited. I mean, seriously, this game deserves a physical release. It's all kinds of fun, and like I said, in this day and age, a lot of shoot 'em ups don't get physical releases. They always come out on mobile devices, so I'm really happy that this game is preserved. Next, we have Pinkapu. This game really reminds me of the old school Rayman games, if you remember those from back in the day. From the beginning of the game, it's a voice story mode that's kind of told in a comic book sequence. It's pretty much one of those stories that's told in the future, but the gameplay is in the past, so you know how things came to be. But other than that, though, I actually came to really like this game. I didn't think I was going to like it at first because it seemed kind of simplistic from the beginning. But as I played it, I spent quite a bit of time into it. It's a really fun game, and it's really compelling. Some things I wasn't able to add to the footage was I didn't get the other costumes that he's able to, the other abilities that you're able to get in the game Right now, I just have the sword ability, and that's one of the first of the 3 that you're able to get in the game. There's an archer, and there's one other one that for some reason I can't think of right now. But there's a lot of discovery going on in the game, and it's just like, I don't know, just the colorful backgrounds are really like, and the graphics themselves, just really a throwback to games, like I said, like Rayman, and which are some of my favorite games of all time. You know, I love platformers, so this one just won my heart right away. From the beginning of the game, you get to choose what level you want to go to on a map. And as you complete, as you kind of like fill out the map, pretty much completing the levels, then you, of course, you get certain items and you fight a boss and you move on. But where I think the game really still stands out is pretty much, I would say, the music and just the gameplay in general. It's just a lot of fun, a real good throwback. So check this one out, guys. I think you'll find a lot of play in this game. Very interesting game, and totally happy it got a physical release. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about this game. I'm interested in hearing you guys' thoughts on this one. Stur Done is a shoot 'em up game. It kind of reminds me of just some old school shoot 'em up games that I probably played on PC that I can't remember, but for some reason it somewhat sticks in my head. Now, beginning of the game, you can only choose one ship, and pretty much the action starts right away. Like your main ship gets blasted out of space, and you're one of the only ships that survived from it, and you go on your mission. It kind of reminds me of Zero Wing, if you remember that game. Like, all your base are belong to us when your ship is destroyed, and only one Zig is able to leave the ship and fly away. So that's what this game reminded me of right away. The action starts right away, and the game does not hold your hand. You gotta, pretty much, I would say, people who have played shoot 'em up games will fall right in. But if you're new to shoot 'em up games, this game might be a little bit tough for you. Levels aren't too long. There's some cool boss battles. The bosses kind of change up their styles every so often. Like when they take so much damage, they'll change it up a bit, so that keeps things fresh. Usually every boss has at least 3 patterns that you have to somewhat learn or try to dodge. The music really stands out in this game, and which it should, especially in a shoot 'em up game. If a shoot 'em up game usually has really good music, and that could be for any game in general, honestly, it really helps the game flow, and you really need a shoot 'em up game to flow, because if it doesn't, I mean, seriously, you're not going to want to play this sucker. So after beating a boss, you're able to choose some of the abilities to use, which is great. So you always get new abilities after you beat a boss. The new areas in the game, I mean, look really good. I mean, seriously. I love shoot 'em up games that are in space, because I've always been like really intrigued with space. Even when I was in high school, you know, I was really like all into like space travel and other planets and all that stuff. So seeing this kind of stuff is always amazing to me, and the developers did a good job with putting out this game. So those of you who played this game, let me know what you guys think of it. And I liked it right away, and you know, it felt right at home to me. I think it's another great game getting a physical release. You know, like I said before in the video, like a lot of shoot 'em ups go straight to mobile, so getting this game as a physical is it's great to have. So hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video so far. I actually have a surprise for you guys. So Strictly Limited actually acquired the rights to release an unreleased game from back in '94, and that game is called Hardcore. Hardcore was originally supposed to come out for, I believe, the Amiga or the Sega Genesis, one of those 2 systems. Can't remember which. And the game is actually getting a physical release for the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. So let's take a look at the trailer. Guys, I have to say that trailer was pretty hardcore. But anyways, guys, what do you think about the preservation of video games? I mean, seriously, I think it's very important, and I think Strictly Limited is on the right track to producing the certain games that really deserve it. If you guys want to see more games that Strictly Limited has coming out, I'll leave a link in the description. Radical Reggie, and I will see you guys later.